My name is Amanda Carter, and I'm 28 years old. I've always dreamed of having the perfect wedding, something simple yet elegant, where I could walk down the aisle wearing a dress that made me feel like a princess. Little did I know, my dream would soon turn into a nightmare, all thanks to my mother-in-law, Victoria, and her daughter, Lisa. It all started a few months before my wedding. I had just found the dress. It was a stunning ivory gown with delicate lace and a train that flowed like a waterfall. When I put it on, I felt tears well up in my eyes. It was perfect. At $3,200, it was pricey, but I was willing to spend that much for something so meaningful. When I told Victoria and Lisa about the dress, I expected some polite excitement. Instead, they exchanged a glance and said, "Oh, honey, you don't need to waste money on a dress. You should wear the family gown. It's a tradition." Victoria went on to describe the dress, her own wedding gown from 30 years ago. It was an outdated, yellowed monstrosity with puffed sleeves and ruffles. I politely declined, explaining that I wanted to wear something that reflected my own style. But my refusal seemed to offend them deeply. "That dress is a piece of our family history," Victoria said sharply. "If you're marrying into this family, you should respect our traditions." I tried to stay calm and reminded them that this was my wedding. Lisa, who was always quick to jump in, smirked and said, "Well, if you want to throw away money on some flashy dress, don't expect us to support it." I thought that would be the end of it. Boy, was I wrong. A week later, I came home from work and noticed something strange. The box containing my wedding dress was missing. My heart sank. I searched the entire apartment, but it was nowhere to be found. Then my phone buzzed. It was a video message from Lisa. With trembling hands, I opened it. There they were, Victoria and Lisa, laughing hysterically as they shredded my dress with scissors. "This is what happens when you disrespect tradition," Victoria sneered in the video. Lisa chimed in, "Now you have no choice but to wear Mom's dress." I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My dream dress, the one I had spent months saving for, was in pieces on the floor. Tears streamed down my face as rage and heartbreak boiled inside me. How could they do something so cruel? The worst part? They didn't even apologize. Instead, they called me later and demanded I apologize to them for being selfish and ungrateful. I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't going to let them get away with this. After watching that video, I sat on my couch in silence, gripping my phone so tightly my knuckles turned white. I replayed it again and again, each time feeling the sting of betrayal even more. This wasn't just about the dress anymore. It was about the blatant disrespect and cruelty. I called my fiancé, Ryan, who was at work. He picked up after a couple of rings. "Hey, babe, what's up?" he asked, his tone cheerful. "Ryan, we need to talk," I said, my voice trembling. "What's wrong?" His tone shifted immediately. I explained everything: the missing dress, the video, and the audacity of his mother and sister. I expected him to be furious on my behalf, but what he said next left me speechless. "Babe, I get that you're upset, but it's just a dress. Maybe you could wear my mom's gown like she suggested? It would make her happy." "Just a dress?" I snapped. "Ryan, they destroyed something I worked hard to pay for. They filmed themselves doing it and had the nerve to blame me. How can you defend them?" There was a long pause before he finally said, "I'm not defending them. I just think we should pick our battles. It's not worth causing a huge family fight over." My stomach sank. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Ryan wasn't just brushing this off, he was siding with them. "I need some time to think," I said coldly before hanging up. That night, I barely slept. I kept replaying everything in my head: Ryan's reaction, the video, Victoria's smug voice, Lisa's laughter. By morning, I knew I couldn't just let this slide. First, I forwarded the video to my best friend, Emily. She called me immediately after watching it. "Amanda, this is insane. You have to do something about this," she said. "I know," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "But I don't know what to do. Ryan isn't even on my side." "Then forget Ryan for now. This is about you standing up for yourself. You can't let them walk all over you." Emily was right. I needed to take control of the situation. Later that day, I went to Victoria's house. My heart was pounding as I rang the doorbell. When she opened the door, she looked completely unbothered, as if nothing had happened. "Amanda," she said with a fake smile. "What a surprise. Come in." "I'm not here for a friendly visit," I said, stepping inside. "I'm here about my wedding dress." Her smile vanished. "I already told you. The family dress is better. You'll thank me later." "Better? You destroyed something I worked hard for. You filmed yourself doing it. How can you justify that?" Lisa appeared in the hallway, smirking as usual. "Oh, here we go. The bride-to-be and her dramatics," she said. I turned to Lisa, my anger boiling over. "You think this is funny? Do you have any idea how cruel and disrespectful you both are?" Victoria crossed her arms. "We were teaching you a lesson about family values. You're the one being disrespectful by refusing tradition." I pulled out my phone and held up the video. "You mean this lesson? Because I'm pretty sure anyone who sees this will think it's just plain vindictive." Victoria's face paled, and Lisa's smirk faltered. "You wouldn't dare show that to anyone," Victoria said, her voice trembling slightly. "Try me," I shot back. "Unless you plan to replace my dress, pay for the damages, and apologize, I'm ready to show this to every family member, wedding guest, and even the police." Victoria and Lisa exchanged nervous glances. "Fine," Victoria finally said through gritted teeth. "We'll replace the dress. But don't expect an apology." "Not good enough," I said. "I want a public apology, or I'm sharing this video." Lisa opened her mouth to argue, but Victoria stopped her. "We'll apologize. But this stays between us." "We'll see," I replied, walking out of the house. When I got home, Ryan was waiting for me. "Your mom and Lisa agreed to replace the dress and apologize," I said. "That's great, right?" he asked, smiling. "No, Ryan. It's not great. They only agreed because I threatened to expose what they did." "And you," I paused, my voice cracking. "You didn't stand up for me?" Ryan looked guilty, but didn't say anything. "I need time to think about whether I can marry into a family like this," I said firmly. The days following my confrontation with Victoria and Lisa were tense. I couldn't stop replaying everything in my head: the video, Ryan's indifference, and the way his mother and sister acted as though I was the one in the wrong. It became clear to me that this wasn't just about the wedding dress. This was about how I would be treated for the rest of my life if I didn't stand up for myself now. Ryan tried to act like everything was fine. He'd send me sweet texts and call to check in, but it all felt superficial. I needed more than words. I needed him to prove that he was on my side. The public apology I demanded came sooner than I expected. Victoria called a meeting with the extended family, claiming it was to clear up a misunderstanding. I wasn't surprised when she tried to twist the narrative in her favor. "We had a little disagreement about Amanda's dress," she began, addressing the room full of aunts, uncles, and cousins. "But we've worked it out, and we're moving forward." "Really?" I interjected, standing up. "Because from where I'm sitting, it doesn't look like you've taken responsibility for anything." The room went silent. All eyes were on me. "Do you want me to show everyone what really happened?" I asked, holding up my phone. "Because I've got the video right here." Victoria's face turned red, and Lisa sank back into her chair. "There's no need for that," Victoria said quickly. "Then tell everyone the truth," I said firmly. Victoria swallowed hard, then looked at the floor. "Fine," she muttered. "I destroyed Amanda's wedding dress because I thought it was disrespectful to our family tradition. It was wrong, and I'm sorry." Lisa mumbled a half-hearted apology, but it was enough for now. The room buzzed with whispers, and I could tell most of the family was appalled by what they'd heard. After the meeting, Ryan pulled me aside. "I can't believe you embarrassed my mom like that," he said, his voice filled with anger. "Embarrassed her?" I said, my voice rising. "She destroyed my dress and humiliated me. I'm the one who's been wronged, Ryan, and instead of standing by me, you're still defending her." "It's not that simple," he said, running his hands through his hair. "She's my mom, and I'm supposed to be her wife." I snapped. "I need to know that you have my back, Ryan. If you can't do that, Maybe we shouldn't get married. That night, I packed a bag and went to stay with my best friend, Emily. She welcomed me with open arms, and for the first time in days, I felt a sense of peace. "You did the right thing, Amanda," Emily said as we sipped coffee on her couch. "If Ryan can't support you now, what's going to happen after you're married? You deserve better." Her words hit me hard because deep down, I already knew she was right. A few days later, Ryan showed up at Emily's apartment. He looked exhausted, like he hadn't slept in days. "Amanda, I'm sorry," he said as soon as I opened the door. I crossed my arms. "Sorry for what?" "For not standing up for you," he said, his voice trembling. "I should have had your back." I was wrong. His sincerity surprised me, but I wasn't ready to let him off the hook just yet. "And what about your mom and Lisa?" I asked. "Are you going to keep making excuses for them?" "No," he said firmly. "I've already told them that their behavior was unacceptable, and if they don't change, I'm cutting ties." It was a start, but I needed time to see if his actions would match his words. In the end, I decided to postpone the wedding. It wasn't an easy decision, but it was the right one. I needed to make sure Ryan was truly ready to prioritize our relationship over his toxic family dynamics. As for Victoria and Lisa, they tried to sweep everything under the rug, but their actions had consequences. The video had spread among the family, and their reputation was in shambles. It was a small victory, but it felt good to know they couldn't manipulate the narrative anymore. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I was in control of my own life. Whether or not the wedding happened, I knew one thing for sure. I would never let anyone, not even my in-laws, steal my happiness again.